15th, 2025. The United States Department of Homeland Security said an officer shot Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, 38, during a traffic stop on Friday in Franklin Park in Illinois. In a statement, the agency said Villegas Gonzalez was in the country illegally and had attempted to flee in his car, dragging and injuring the officer. That's their story, and they will stick to it until the video comes out. The death of Villegas Gonzalez has angered community members and heightened safety fears among the region's Latino residents, many of whom may not show up for work, giving new meaning to the term brownout. The Missouri State Legislature on Friday passed a plan to redraw the state's congressional maps and potentially add another Republican-leaning House seat, the latest state to join a nationwide redistricting push backed by unregistered sex offender and pedophile ally Donald Trump. Consumer sentiment continues to slide in September, falling to its lowest point since May, as tariffs seep into product prices and Americans start to spend more cautiously, and some even saying, "So that's what a tariff is. Damn it, Trump, you got me again."
The opinions expressed on this program
West
are
Point
those of the
Association
host
Graduates
or guest
Chairman
and
Robert
should
A.
not be
McDonald wrote
interpreted
in a
as
release,
statement of
quote,
fact.
Tom Hanks
Independent
has done more
fact-checking
for the
and
positive
corrections
portrayal
are
of the
encouraged.
American service member.
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
Of the American veteran, their caregivers, and their families, and more for the American space program, all branches of government.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with the Dog, September 15th, 2025, Monday, first day of the week. And already we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. I am G.D. Fenderson, the coffee. The dog will be with us shortly, I hope, because I started this anticipating that he'd have his technical issues resolved. So, but they do not. He does not. So, I had a pretty good weekend. I hope you did too. I got to hang out with some friends of mine, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, and a friend of mine named Douglas. Known him for years. He was my keyboard player back when I had a band in the 80s, and the keyboard player on. Oh, wow. Okay, I just got a thing that says from that, I'm on my own. All right. Okay. So here I am. At any rate, we went to the wine festival this weekend. I was telling you about Doug. He was my keyboard player back when I had a band back in the 80s. And he was the keyboard player on my CD that I did in the 90s. We've been friends for a long time. The kind of friend that you don't want around your kids, not for bad reasons, but because I know where all the bodies are buried, and they're not buried very deep. So if I do any kind of digging around there, parts are going to show up. All kinds of parts are going to show up. And so, his kids are grown now. So but when they were really little, if they asked something like, "So what was my dad like?" I had some stories, and as I told him, I'd make eye contact with him to make sure I wasn't divulging something that he had already just denied existed. So we're that kind of friends. We've been around each other for a very, very long time. So we got to hang out at the wine festival on Saturday. Saturday. And it was a good time. It was a good time. That reminds me. I spent quite a bit of money on liquor, I think. more than I would ordinarily spend, because I'm not a big drinker. I drink a lot in little shots, but not big drink, little drinker. I'm not a little drinker. So uh, that reminds me, I need to do something here real quick. You stay right there. I just have to check something because I'm moving some money around. Uh, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to think out loud. I almost said my password out loud real quick, and that would have gotten me into a little bit of trouble. At any rate, we they had bands playing. They had things that resembled food, uh, all kinds of fried stuff, all kinds of. But my friend's a vegetarian, and I don't eat beef or pork, so it was. There we go. Okay, great, good, 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 good. So let's see here. All right, never mind. I'll take care of that little bit. So we went to. Uh, we had the I think the tickets are called, they have different levels. They have like 4 different levels. You can walk in and not drink anything, just be a designated driver, and they'll give you like free sodas and water or something like that. And then there's the next level, which I don't know what that is. And then the level after that is you get a wine glass you can sample, um, but you don't get to the VIP section. And you have like a common restroom, which I'm not crazy about. I'm I don't like restrooms where they have um, a common um, trough. It's like so the guys are standing like right next to each other, using a urinal that's about 6 feet wide. Okay, the urinal is about 6 feet wide, maybe 7, could be 8. And I think you get to stand on, but well, no, here you don't stand on both sides. Here you stand on one side, and there's a wall behind you. Thank goodness. But you get everybody's splashback. I don't like that. I do not like those urinals. So to me, you can use those, or you just go to a porta potty. Um, for me, it's worth it to just get the VIP pass. You get a deeper selection of wines and liqueurs. You get a private area, and the restrooms are much, much cleaner. So it that's what I prefer to have, and that's what we got. And I'm sorry, I'm making there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Done. Okay. I was just making sure that I had funds, because tonight, during an open mic, and I didn't want to get there and not have enough money to order food or drinks or whatever. So, um, I want to tell you about a few things. The flyer behind me for John Kenneth. He has a show, Westport, VFW, on Saturday, September 20th. And if you're in earshot and you're near there, check it out. Forgot who the other people are on the show, but they weren't friends of mine. And also, John just did an interview with Done Way Past Funny. Those episodes just went up on YouTube this weekend, and they'll be on Knob TV and Spark TV shortly. So there we have it. So, that's it. Yeah, there was nothing else much. I didn't do much else this weekend. What about you? What did you do? We did something clean. Oh, well, afterwards. After we went to the wine festival, when it was over with, um, basically all you do at a wine festival is you drink wine, you sit around, you eat some bad food, unhealthy food, and talk for about 5 hours, which is what we were there from like 11 to 4. And then we came back to my house where we drank wine, talked, and had good food. And we could have just saved a lot of money if we just came to my house, talked, drank, and had good food. We could have saved several $100s, I think. So uh, that was pretty much my weekend. Sunday, uh, I opened for I worked with the Reverend on Sunday for his show, and that was it. Um, and this afternoon, I have oh yeah, for those of you who had been asking about the podcast that I'm working on with Alan Katz from Crypt Keeper, HBO's Crypt Keeper, we're working on a podcast. We wanted to get a few episodes produced in the can first before we went ahead and did it. Put it out there. That's coming out, should be this month. It's called What Makes Us Laugh. What Makes Us Laugh? And we take a look at comedy from you know, basically, like I said, what makes us laugh. But all our episodes have different themes. Um, like we'd look into political humor. We look into the mechanics of laughter, why you laugh like you do. And I'll give you an example. When we were kids, when we were babies, we all laughed pretty much the same way. We're like, like that big full belly laugh. Um, and, like, and you showed all your gums and everything. But as we get older, we don't laugh like we did as most of us do not laugh like we did when we were kids. We develop some other mannerism, some kind of tics. We cover our mouths or something like that. So, and we look into things like that. And I'm a little bit hoarse. Some of that's from laughing, some of that's from talking, some of that's from drinking, and some of that's from lack of sleep. For those of you thinking, "Whoa, that doesn't sound like GD. That's his bedroom voice. Why is he talking like that?" I'm not talking like this on purpose. I'm just talking like this because I can. Yeah. Now, I didn't have a lot of stuff prepared because I thought I was going to be not talking with my friend Matt to find out what he was doing. I saw that he's posted some paintings on the wall on Facebook. One was called Total Eclipse of the Heart. Nice painting. Check it out if you can find it on Facebook or uh, Threads or maybe Instagram. I can't remember. Um, I can't remember, but anyway, they're there. And the other painting, I think it's called Man on the Ledge. Uh, Matt's a pretty good painter. He's a pretty good artist. Check out some of his work. Matter of fact, start buying his work. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Start buying his work. Make him uh, make him a famous artist. And then when he dies, um, when he dies, he can be uh, much, much more famous. Now, what else? What else were we talking about? Oh, here's something here. West Point Association of Graduates Chairman Robert A. McDonald wrote in a release, quote, "Tom Hanks has done more for the positive portrayal of the American service member, more for the caring of the American veteran, their caregivers, and their family, and more for the American space program and all branches of government than many other Americans," close quote. Now, I bring this up because the Alumni Association for the United States Military Academy at West Point has canceled a scheduled award ceremony slated to celebrate actor Tom Hanks. Yeah, that's it. After all of those accolades, they decided we're not going to honor Tom Hanks. It's too much. We can't do it. And the reason being, he had said some negative things about um, Donald Trump. And so I guess you can't say that, because even though the military, they say they're there to protect our Constitution, and one of the things our Constitution grants us is free speech, you cannot use that free speech if you're talking about Donald Trump. So there's that. Also, we have I started getting texts. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but I've received 2 texts so far, from one from Turning Point USA and the other from Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow. And both of them are asking for money to continue Charlie's work. I don't think they know what Charlie's work was. He was not the nicest of people, at least not to minorities. So why are they asking me for money? My wife and I were trying to figure that out, because I guess I must have posted something about him, and they figured, oh, he posted. I know what I said. I said, fuck them and fuck them all, referring to people who support him, but who haven't. Okay. Matt didn't want to talk about Charlie Kirk. I don't have a problem talking about him. I have a problem talking about him and not cussing. That's where the problem is going to lie. I feel bad for his kids, and only because they do not know what a douchebag he is. Okay, that's it. That's the only reason I feel bad for the kids, because they don't know. They know him as dad, and he comes home and he brought things to them. He gave them things, gifts, I guess. But other than that, they said the kids shouldn't have to, I mean, eventually they're going to say goodbye to their parents anyway in the natural order of things, but not so young. They shouldn't lose their parents, because most kids worship their parents when they're kids. They don't know any better. But adults, we know better. Okay, so while I feel bad for Charlie Kirk's daughters, his wife, she had to know what a douchebag he was. Okay, he was a Nazi apologist, and that's the nice thing to say about him. That's it. So I don't condone violence, but Charlie Kirk and the people like him did nothing to bring down the temperature of the rhetoric being used by today's public leaders and figures. No, I'd say it was chickens coming home to roost, but these cowards are an insult to chickens, who are far braver. Chickens are far braver than anybody I've ever met wearing a MAGA hat. Okay, except if I'm in a bar fight and the choices to back me up are MAGA people or chickens, I'm picking the chickens, because chickens will fight to the death. MAGA people will only fight when it's convenient. That's it. So give me the chickens. So now his wife spoke about Charlie the other day, and in her little speech, she said that Charlie was martyred and he is with Jesus now. If that's what she needs to believe, but I doubt it. Now, I'm not judging like who gets to go to heaven and who doesn't. I'm just saying, if that's what she needs to believe, fine, but she's believing a lie. Okay, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. That's it. So, and the people that mourned him cried more tears over this one person than he did for all of the children lost to school shootings combined. So to that, I say to you MAGA people, shame and shame and shame again. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. What else is going on in here? Let's see. Mark Bowman passed away. He passed away on September 5th. After he had Lewy body dementia. That was diagnosed in 2020. He worked with he was a founding member of the Turtles. Him and Howard Kalin, founding member of the Turtles. But they also worked with Frank Zappa, Duran Duran, T-Rex, Bruce Springsteen, and they did music for Strawberry Shortcake cartoons. So he's done a lot. He's had his hands on a lot of things. And they were still actually performing under the name of Flo and Eddie. They were still performing, I guess, up until recently. When I say recently, I mean he died, but I mean they probably stopped before he died because he did have Lewy body dementia. But it was being treated with medication, allowing him to perform for decades or years. Because, like I said, he was diagnosed with it in 2020, and he was performing up until this year. Also, Rick Davies from Supertramp, he died on September 5th. He died of blood cancer. He was 81. He was a co-founder of Supertramp, singer and keyboardist, and they were one of my favorite bands. I love Supertramp. One of my top favorite bands. I love their sound quality, the intricacy of their music, And for those of you who are familiar with the music, even if you're not familiar with Supertramp's music, you know some of their songs, like Goodbye Stranger, The Logical Song, Long Way Home, Bloody Well Right. Those are just a few of their songs that, even if you're not a fan of Supertramp, you know those songs. So, and who else? Polly Holiday from the Kiss My Grits woman from Alice. She passed away. She was 88. And she had pneumonia. So, those are all the happy deaths we know about. Celebrity deaths. That's all I know about. I don't know what you want to talk about. Let me see here. Okay. Matt cannot get on air, but he's sending little notes, and one of them is, how about the Mets? I don't follow sports. So unless you mean the Metropolitan Opera, and I don't follow that either. And he wants to know if I want to buy some viewers. All right. Damn it. I am caught totally unawares, caught off guard. See, this is what I get. This is what I get for starting the show on time. I should have left it in Matt's hands, and if he didn't start the show, I'd be like, okay, whatever. What do you guys want to talk about? Because I don't have any. I'm running out of topics. I'm sorry. Let me do this real quick. You stay right there. I'm just I'm checking a different screen. I'll tell you what I'm doing here. I'm just checking to see if there's. Nope. Okay, never mind. See, I'm doing. Oh. Oh, Matt is. Okay. It goes, I can end it if I want to, and if I want to end the show, I can end the show. Now here's the deal. I just want you to know, I have OCD. I've never been diagnosed with OCD, but I do know I have tendencies. And I don't like to end things like at 25 after. So if I end this early, I'm gonna end it at 9:30. And uh, oh, thank you, bless you. Give me something to follow. Thank you, Slaptail. Uh, Slaptail asked me where did my music influences come from, and I have a extremely eclectic music, a lot of music influences. Like as far as being a songwriter goes, I'm not musically trained, but some of the people I used to listen to, like for example, okay, I'm musically trained, but not trained like years of study. Um, when I was very very young, after my father died, my mother remarried, and my stepfather, his father was well, my stepfather was a musician, and his father was a musician. But his father was like Afro Jamaican. And so we would have these parties on like maybe once a month or whenever he was in town. Whenever my stepfather's father was in town. And I don't even remember his name. You know, I think I called him Grandpop or something. I don't even know what I called him because he was my stepfather's father. I didn't call him my grandfather, but he had we'd have these parties and he brought these and his friends and they'd have all these percussion instruments, so we'd be playing uh congos and bongos and talking drums and timbras and uh no timpanis, they're too big and they're not really African, but all these African instruments in the house. And my stepfather, who was a guitarist, a bassist, and a flute player, um they say they have these parties, and because it's Afrocentric jams, there were really no time signatures. It was just ragas, just rhythms, and stuff like that, and and we'd be jamming. And of course, I wasn't jamming; I was too young. But I'd be dancing, and because we had Afro Jamaicans there, they were dancing like not like the dancing that I would learned watching American Bandstand and stuff like that. They were dancing like you will watch if you were watching a nature channel or something like that, and you see African tribes and they're dancing with they're tapping the feet and stuff. That's the dancing they were doing. Uh, but that listening to Dionne Warwick, uh, Motown and stuff like that. Uh, but I got initiated into rock by two things: Ed Sullivan, uh, because they'd have things like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, stuff like that, the Turtles, Herman's Hermits on Ed Sullivan. That was probably my first exposure to rock and roll. Um, and yeah, and we had some Beatles albums in the house. That was my first exposure to rock. But I didn't like go out and buy rock music or anything like that. Actually, back then I had no money. I only bought two 45s, and one was Temptations and one was uh maybe Isley Brothers. But I used to listen to a radio station at night on my AM radio, and I think it was WSID. And at night, I'd fall asleep with the radio on listening to R&B, and I'd wake up and it'd be playing R&B. But in the middle of the night, because it was AM, the other channels would come in and take over that frequency. So I'd go to sleep and wake up to WSID, the R&B. But in the middle of the night, while I was deep sleep, there was a rock station out of Georgia, and they were playing things like Edgar Winter, Elton John, Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, um, in the middle of the night. So I was hearing this in my sleep, and I'd wake up and I'd know these songs, but I had no idea how I knew them. And a car would drive by, and there was like one car was driving by, and it was playing um, Frankenstein, and I knew exactly what that song was. And I started, um, you know, My friends are staring at me going like, how do you know this? Like, I don't know. I don't know how I know it. It took me years to figure out, well, maybe the rest of that year to figure out that my radio station was slipping at night. And I was learning those songs in the back of my head. But I started watching, and I think when I started playing guitar in 77. Oh, thank you. There's Matt. I started playing, he's not here yet. He's just there, kind of. I started playing guitar when I was like 17. And my first, let me see if I can find it. My first major influence on me was a band called the Sensational Alex Harvey Band. Let me see, Sensational Alex Harvey Band. Okay, yeah. Now this was okay. This song, I'm gonna see if I can share it with you people. This was I used to love this band. I loved Sensational Chubb Band. I'm not gonna play a lot of it because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But here, there we go. This is the Sensational Alex Harvey Band live, and this song is called Delilah. It was first done by I first knew about it from Tom Jones. And that's the other thing. My mother used to listen to Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck on Sunday night. And I was indoctrinated into that because of my mother. And I think every woman used to love Tom Jones. He had a song called Delilah. This is their version of Delilah, which I absolutely love. But like I said, this was one of my favorite bands. Their guitarist, Val Clemenson, who I got an opportunity to chat with, was influenced the way I do comedy. Well, actually, this band actually influences the way I do comedy and the way I played guitar back then. So let's see if I can. I saw the light on the night that I passed by her window. I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind. She was my woman, and that she betrayed me, I watched, went out of my mind. Okay, I'm stopping it there because I don't want to continue with I don't want to get a copyright strike for us. I don't know at one point do they give us the strike and go, that's it. You're paying, you're not getting any kind of money from us. But that was one of my favorite bands when I was growing up, Sensational Chubby Band. It was the theatrics. It was just the way he did the things that he did. And I think I first saw them on, I think, Don Kirshner's rock concert. But they were one of my favorite bands. And people hadn't heard of them. I know. It's like Crack the Sky. Now, they're not as good as Crack the Sky. Don't get me wrong. But I love that band. I had 11 of their albums, I think. I had 11 of their albums. Maybe 9. I think I had 9 of their albums. The only other band that I had more of their albums was XTC. I think I had 11 or 12 XTC albums. Like I had Yes albums. I had like maybe 7 Yes albums. But those are pretty much my influences. and they're all over the place. I mean, it's literally all over the place, and in no particular order. And even to today, I love music that does not have a time signature or a key. Um, looks like we're gonna have a Matt sighting. I'm not sure yet.
Nope. I got
Well,
nothing.
I hear you.
No.
I hear you.
Hello.
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
What is this dopey background? You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see me? You can't
Yeah.
see me?
Yes, I see you.
Oh. All right. Good morning. When are you going to learn your lesson that if you don't, there's nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying start at 9 o'clock?
I don't know that. I'm a little bit old. I like I said, I've never been diagnosed with
I heard the
OCD,
OCD. Yeah.
but I do have tendencies, and it's not
I
compulsive.
don't know. Maybe I'll stick
But
with this dopey background. I don't. I feel like I'm doing acid all of a sudden. What is this?
look, I can change the backgrounds. I just don't know which background to stick in there. Because the only thing I remember is that last time you said to me,
This
change
one.
backgrounds. Okay.
This,
Yeah.
but it's not
So,
popping up. Damn stupid stuff. Yeah, there it is. All right. That's better. It's a little. It's still moving, but it's kind of. It's not as acid trippy. Anyway, thanks for starting this show. I am gonna, as soon as the show ends today, which will probably be soon, move the good computer over to here and not have to deal with this nonsense anymore. But it is what it is. So, yeah, people are sick of talking. I think I'm sick of hearing about Charlie Kirk or talking about Charlie Kirk. It's just one thing I will note. Daisy's Nashville, a place that I have played probably 60 or 70 times over the last 3 years. I won't be playing there anymore because of this. They highlighted a thing by Jason Aldean about dedicating his song "Try That in a Small Town" to Charlie Kirk, and they posted that, and I said, "You realize he was murdered in a small town." And
so they did try it in a
they
small town.
not only tried it, it was easy, and they got away. The kid got away with it. If he hadn't turned himself in, he'd still be on the loose. So he tried that in a small town. It was very easy. Thank you very much. Now, what do you have to say about that? But that got them. That got me banned from that, and very angry. So I won't be at Daisy's ever again because I had the audacity. I wasn't. First of all, that is not hate speech. That is just saying, realize he dedicated a song, try that in a small town. They tried that in a small town, and it got him murdered. It's plain fact. It's not like, that's hate speech. You're celebrating his death. I'm not celebrating his death. There are people celebrating his death. I would actually have preferred he lived and saw kind of the fruits of his labor, because I don't think the fruits of his labor are going to be any good. But last thing on that note, the wife, Erica Kirk, she's got advice for grieving widows whose husbands have been murdered. And here's what you do. You call your stylist, your makeup artist, your styling consultant. You call your cameraman, your teleprompter operator. You get your camera up there, and then you go on and say, they did this. This is a conspiracy theory that they murdered Charlie. Who are they? One fucking kid did it. But no, so we got to go after them. That's exactly what. So she is spreading hate speech on her own and calling for retribution. But with no tears in her eyes, perfect makeup, perfect lighting, a little display board she had made up of Charlie and all that stuff from his office. It's just like, it felt like such a fucking grift. And if you want to support his work, you can. He left her $12 million. You want to support his work, just send her more money. She put up the Venmo, the PayPal. Well, it doesn't get any lower than that. I can guarantee you, if today somebody puts a bullet in my head, my wife will not be like setting up shop here and coming out. She didn't even cry a little bit. See, not a tear, just like they did it. The evildoers did it, and we have to. It's a battle cry. Then now we're going to up the battle. Really, this is what she said. But he wasn't.
They asked me for. They did. I received 2 texts from them this weekend asking for money. One from Turning Point USA and one from whoever's do. And well, it says this is Erica Kirk here, that kind of thing. So, but so both of them asked me for money so he can continue his work.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what they're all about now. The arguments will continue, and people will until the next thing. There will be a next thing, and I'm not saying another shooting. Hopefully, there won't be another shooting, but there'll be another thing to take your mind off of the latest news cycle. Anything to avoid talking about it. Like we have a pedophile in office. We have a guy who is really slipping away, and he is a fascist. And this is the point that I keep making, and I can't get them to even engage with this idea. You say you're anti-fascist, and this kid it was anti-fascism that radicalized the kid. So is fascism good? No, fascism is terrible. So why aren't you anti-fascist? Why do you hate fascists? And why do you hate anti-fascists if you're not a fascist? Well, you don't even know what it means. Well, here's the definition, and here's exactly how it fits to this administration or regime, if you want to call it that. It fits to a T, letter by letter, for the definition of fascism. But you just cannot bring yourself to say that anti-fascism is good because fascism is bad. Why? There's one reason they can't bring themselves to say, yeah, I'm anti-fascist, because Donald Trump told them so. Donald Trump said you can't, this is a line you can't cross. You cannot say anything that I don't approve of. And Donald Trump wants an enemy in Antifa, anti-fascism. So they can come as far as admit that fascism was bad because it's an insult. Call him a fascist, that's bad. It's an insult. Okay. So you're anti-fascist. No, don't say that. Well, so you're pro-fascist. No, I didn't say that. Well, there's no gradation in fascism. There's no like fascism light. There's no somewhere in the middle. There's no gray area. You're either all fascist or completely anti-fascist. There's no fucking middle ground here to say, well, an acceptable amount of fascism is okay. So that's where we're at. America needs to wake up to the fact that we have a fascist dictator. He's not going to go away on his own or through peaceful means. He's not. We've seen it before. We've seen demonstrations of his refusal to respect peaceful transfer of power. So even if he allows a vote, he's not going to honor the vote, as the same as it was last time. So here we are, a fascist America. We either own up to what we got, or we just kid ourselves and go by. How about the Mets? How about the Emmy Awards? Want to talk about the Emmy Awards? I mean, this is where we're at. Let's find some distractions. People doing comedy in comedy clubs now. I have no idea how you get the people to forget about the fighting and the arguing and the bickering and the nonsense over was he a fascist or was he a racist or wasn't he a racist? Here's the deal on Charlie Kirk's racism. When he talked about affirmative action and the women, whether it was AOC, Jasmine Crockett, whatever, all these people that he said they don't have the brain power to process what affirmative action means. But what it means, and this is where you can't deny the racism. What he said, you can't get it without stealing a white person's job. Now, somebody was like, well, he was just talking about those 3 people. It doesn't matter if he's talking about a speck of dust. He's assuming it's a white person's job. You can't get ahead without stealing a white person's job. That means you, in your mind, without a doubt, there's no arguing this. In his mind, white people all get the job by default. And if you get the job through affirmative action or whatever, You are stealing a white person's job. Now, there's lots of different. If you want to go down to racism and racial makeup, there are other aspects than just white and black. So why are you assuming why can't that be an Asian person's job? You're assuming it's a white person's job, according to the intelligence, the whatever the Nazi people who look at heredity and say, well, these people are smarter than these people. Asians beat white people on IQ tests, the standardized IQ test, all the time. So why isn't it an Asian person's job? Why are you assuming it's a white person's job? Well, you're taking them out of context. No, this is exactly what he said. You're stealing a white person's job. White replacement theory is what he was talking about all the time. You cannot say, well, he wanted to engage with people.
Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of them are saying. He just wanted to have the conversation. No, you don't get to say you just want to have the conversation when every conversation ends with white good, black bad.
Right. And basically the idea that everything is anti-white. All the Democrats, especially, everything on the left, they just hate white people. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but Bernie Sanders is pretty fucking white.
It shows Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, and so Joe Biden couldn't get any fucking whiter. I mean, they hate white people. It's not against white people. It's not about rigging the game for minorities. It's about equal opportunity. It's always been about equal. Oh, they want a guaranteed outcome, equal outcome. No, nobody ever said anything about that. That's just a conservative talking point that goes back pre-Reagan, all this kind of whatever it is, equal outcome idea. It's just not. Nobody's asking for that. They're asking for a chance. And the reason affirmative action or DEI, all these stuff's got in place was because many corporations, many companies were just saying, "Oh, it's a black person applying. Don't even interview them. Don't even give them any." Because so all it was about was equal opportunity to apply for the job, to interview for the job, and none of this bullshit. Well, we're just going to hire white people and just with a wink and an eye. Yeah, let them fill out the application and go stand over there and never.
And
call.
even when it was illegal to do so,
Right.
they still had codes that they put on applications,
Right,
so that they would know that the person was white, and or that the person wasn't white. They actually write AA at the top of the paper, which meant All American, which meant they were white, and they would know that. So that got into one pile, and so they would say, "Well, we don't have race anywhere on here. There's no race on here. We didn't ask anybody their race," and they didn't. Somebody interviewed them and wrote AA. All American.
Yeah, or they could. Well, that's African American. I don't know where you got All American from.
Even before they were being called African Americans.
Yeah. But
no, they were alcoholics. they were on the wagon. We just acknowledged.
I want to know this. How can I just call up a university and say I'd like to come there and give a speech? And just start handing out flyers and get people. Let's talk about politics. How do you set that up? How did he become this guy who just? And Ben Shapiro did the same thing. They just go to college campuses and decide. Steven Crowder did the same thing. Can you just go there with a camera crew and a microphone and just set up and just without? Can I do it today? Could I go to?
I think if you had somebody on the inside of the college, like maybe like 4 or 5 students, and say to them, "We need you to form a group or a club, and then we can come speak for your club or to your club." So it's not like you would walk onto the campus with a bullhorn or something. It's like somebody on the inside, so they wouldn't be trespassing, would have to be saying, "We're going to form a young Matt Napo club, and we want the ideology of Matt Napo, to be talked about here." And so they form this club, and they, get recognized as a club, and then they invite you to speak to the club.
Yeah.
So, I think that's how it have to work.
Yeah. So I have to go there and find some kids to advocate for me and start a little movement there. That's too much work. I'll be dead by the time I even. But I would love to be able to talk to young people because I got this. Will, I hope you're sitting down for this. I was on Twitter and got into an argument with somebody.
What?
Um, yeah, I'm sorry to shock you like that,
It's a
especially
good.
early in the morning.
It's a good thing you warned me, so that I would be sitting down.
Yeah. But the idea was, about young people because they were crediting Charlie Kirk with moving the needle to young men, especially voting for Trump, and because that's what the supposed election results of 2024 show that 10% more white young males voted for Trump. And I'm like, I'm not sure that there's any correlation between Charlie Kirk and that happened, even if I do accept those statistics.
Even or what? And why not Joe Rogan?
Right. Or all these people. But I
Right.
think what happens is we had a woman of color running. Now we've had a president of color. So to say that race is the deal killer on a president, not necessarily true. If they have enough charisma and speak to the people and talk about the things that they really want, it's possible a black man, or a man of color other than black could be president again. But you combine race with the fact that she's a woman, the fact that she laughed a lot, she had a giggle and celebrated joy, and they put her down for that. Uh, and the fact that she was very, how do I say this? And I'm not looking for a politically correct way. I'm trying to think of an accurate way. She stood up to Donald Trump as like an equal, and how dare she? How dare this black woman, whatever she is, whatever her
And not only
race.
that, during the debate when they went toe to toe, she made him look bad. Well,
She
she
did,
didn't just
yeah,
make him look bad; he made himself look bad, and her being there just made him look worse.
right. So, but I think especially the males 18 to 25, white males 18 to 25, took in both accounts. They first of all, they're not voting for another black person again so recently after we've already tried that and whatever. My parents told me it didn't work out. Whatever these kids think about Obama. But then the fact that she was a woman compounded there. I'm just, even if I don't like Trump, I'm not voting for a black woman to be president. I'm just not. And so people, oh, you're just saying that. I talked to a fair amount of young white dudes for a guy my age, but this was a guy older than me who was definitely whiter than white. And when I say that, I don't mean just skin color. I mean whiter than white in his approach to life. He's an old grandpa. He lives in his conservative suburb. He, whatever. A Christian man, goes to church every Sunday. Whatever. His idea is completely. I don't talk to white people. I haven't been out. The only young people I ever talked to are my grandchildren. I don't. He's never had a conversation with a young white male, 18 to 25. But I guarantee you, they are not shy about saying, "I'm not voting for that nigger cunt." They're not shy about that. They will come straight out and say that. So to say I am just basing this on feelings, no, I'm basing it on words I've heard, people I've talked to. It's not like they hide from me, and because I don't look like I'm going to turn them into the race police or the bigot police. And so they will come straight out and tell me in no uncertain terms, I'm not voting for. So I think the giving Charlie Kirk or any of the blogosphere complete credit on why white males won't or have voted for Trump. I think they voted for Trump as the lesser of two evils in their mind, because God forbid we go with a woman of color who laughs. Now, a big part of this thing, a guy on TikTok, kid, a young person, 18 to 25, gave me a lecture last night that I appreciated completely because I don't know about the dark internet, the dark web, the Discord stuff, the groypers. And he basically took this psychoanalysis of Tyler Richardson to the extreme of not let's look at his his brain, how it works. We're looking at the culture he grew up in, this Discord stuff, the video game stuff, all the messaging, the memes on the bullets and all this stuff. This is all from that culture that they live in these dark corners of the web. And this guy knew it because he's one of them.
Right.
And he explained it very well about the meme that he wrote, the cartoon he had there. That was a very well-known thing that they passed around in 2013. That's how long this kid has been in these dark corners of the web, being told about the gun enthusiasts, just the radicalization of the youth is clear to see where it's going on in these rooms, and all of these memes and the memes on the bullets and all that stuff, and the thing you left behind, if you're reading this, you're gay, that is from Discord stuff. That's basically all the things he was writing were completely out of this. And I'm not putting down Discord because there are apps and there are websites and there are businesses that have Discords for their customers to help them use it. But the platform giving them a server of their own is the Wild West. It's unpoliced. And so you have these corners where these groypers. Did you ever hear the word groyper before this shooting?
I hadn't heard groyper until just now. What the fuck is groyper?
Groyper is, I don't know what it stands for. Groyper. Nick Fuentes is one of the most influential people in the groyper world. Nick Fuentes, Nick the Nazi. And he has disavowed the violence, even though he was one of the guys saying Charlie Kirk was going to get a bullet to the head for being whatever, not far right enough in the Nazi view. But now he's disowning these people. But he is one of the curators of young men, and they look up to him. He's well spoken for a Nazi. He's not just a stupid Nazi, just going out there and saying, kill the Jews, kill the blacks, whatever. He is making an articulate case, like he's been trained in media relations and all this stuff. So they follow him, and if he says it, they can relate to him. He's of their age. They look like him, a nice white kid, and in a suit and tie. Yeah, I'll listen to him. He must be smart. Listen to him talk articulately about these issues. And then before you know it, they're all in there and they're sharing their, whatever it is, lust for turning the world upside down. And so everybody psychoanalyzing this kid, celebrating that there was a trans person involved. Now see, that proves it. The trans girlfriend helped him turn him in, and she's working with the authorities. He's not working with the authorities at all. He's not cooperating, according to the governor of Utah. So maybe don't blame it on the trans person. Blame it on the kid who was brought up in a small town, a small Christian town. Father was a sheriff's deputy and a Christian pastor, and finds out he's got a thing for dick. But he's not got a thing for dick so hard that he's going to go with another guy. He still likes them to look feminine, so he finds a trans person. Now he's got all this, and I'm psychoanalyzing. I'm just guessing what could have happened in this kid's mind. He's feeling like he's guilty against himself. He's a Christian, and he's doing things that are unholy and ungodly and sucking the dick. And dad's a pastor, and all these people, and it's got to be in secret and guilty amongst themselves, and he's in with all these influences. He's a fucked up kid at this point. He doesn't know what he wants. He knows what feels good. He knows what he at the end of the day, he's happy with this person, this trans person, but in the back of his mind, his culture is making him feel like he doesn't deserve to live because of that. And there's no doubt that he's getting that messaging in Utah 24/7, not just from his father, not just from his nearby community, the entire state, with the Joseph Smith and Latter-day Saints people frowning upon all aspects of sexuality, which is none of their business. This guy feeling guilty about his life. So, what do you expect when you're fucking confusing the hell out of these kids and not giving them any chance to grow into who they really are, and telling them what they want to be is, or what they like is wrong, and then you provide a dark space for them to share violent ideas and video game, shoot 'em ups and all this stuff, and the love for the gun, and and I'm not blaming the video games. I'm just saying all these things combined can fuck with a young man, a young adolescent growing into adulthood, can fuck with their mind in a big way. This kid needs a psychiatrist desperately, like a dedicated psychiatrist, not social media playing psychiatrist. So, that's where we're at with this individual case. But I don't think it starts and ends with Charlie Kirk. And I hate to see Charlie Kirk raised to the level of martyr, because he frankly was not that important. If he would have lived, I don't think he would have had the kind of effect that people are attributing white males changing their mind because of him. No, white males are changing their mind because of all the messaging that comes from Trump. It comes from the cowardice of those who were afraid to stand up to Trump and let the Republican Party slip into the Nazis, the Fourth Reich. They let that happen. Don't call us Nazis. You're Nazis. And this last thing, and then whatever, we can talk about other things. This idea
I just looked up what a groiper was. That's all.
what do you got? What is the definition of?
Okay. Groiper refers to a far-right internet meme and movement associated with white nationalist and Christian nationalist activism. The term groiper originated from a cartoon image of a rotund green amphibian, often sitting with its chin resting on folded fingers, resembling but distinct from the well-known Pepe the Frog meme.
Yeah.
So,
and that thing goes back to 2013. That
yeah,
frog thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I should have prepared myself with the actual description of it. But yeah, so there's lots of. It's not like this is a fringe small group. There's a lot of because this kid was 10 years old when he started going into these groups, and so that's what the guy on TikTok, who was his age, was saying. Most of us have spent our whole lives. You just didn't know we were in these groups. The adults didn't know. And now we're growing up and becoming adults and taking action on it because we can do it. And this is what you're seeing. This is the residual effect of people like Tyler Richardson, is that they've been training for this for 10, 12, 15 years. We just didn't know about it. They've been, and I don't want to say indoctrinated, but it's they built a culture around violent guns, fantasies, around taking control, not feeling invisible. And this goes back to everything else. Is this feeling of invisibility is what's making people so angry. Like, I don't matter. None. So everybody's got to get a microphone now and get a podcast because I feel invisible and I have something to say. Nobody wants to hear me. Well, I'll just force myself on people. One thing that the Vietnam War taught me is that you cannot ever impose your will on a country. And that was our intent there. That was the intent of China on the opposite side, was to impose them, to get them to follow our lead. You can't make them follow your lead. They have to want to from their minds and hearts. You can't do it by force. All that's going to do is lead to terrorism and people fighting back with sticks and stones and anything they can get their hands on. But they're still going to fight back. You cannot force people. You cannot subjugate people into democracy or capitalism or whatever ism you want to bring them into. You just can't do it. And that's what the Trump administration is desperately trying to force us into You believe you are MAGA, or you got to get out. We will destroy you and eliminate you. And that's what we have to. And this is the language they use all the time. We have to dismantle the left. We have to get rid of the left. The left is the problem. No, we have to include voices from progressivism, conservatism, all these ideas, which go into making a healthy debate, which make into people lead it to people making moderate choices and slow, manageable growth instead of just
The thing that one of the things that kind of concerns me though is because on the far right, which is now the right, which is now the MAGA people, they don't believe in debate. So they're not going to have any progressives over there, or even a progressive conservative, a left-leaning conservative in their group because they're not far right enough. And so they're not going to have the dialogues. Progressives want to have the dialogue, so they'll say, "Oh, okay, you're Dick Cheney and you want to come over here and have a dialogue, sure." And then they can actually have some influence on the left, while the far right is not getting any influence from anything else.
Yeah.
And I don't.
That's why they're targeting. That's why they're going to universities, because listen. I know you have heard the arguments for 40 years or more that well, let's just take any social program. Well, there's no such thing as free lunch. That money comes from somewhere. This is the argument you're going to get from conservatives. I made this argument enough in the 1980s and early 90s that there's no such thing as free lunch. So you want me to pay for your free college, right? That is bullshit. I am personally not paying for anybody's free college. The money is there. It's how we divide up the money that is in the government. We have no problem having me pay for your highways that we all use, right? We are paying for those. You just don't want. We can
or the military, which
I was going to say the military, but I
yeah.
decided because for whatever reason, we need the military. Whatever you need a defense for, we don't need a Department of War. We do need defense, but the fact is, the roads is something that everybody can relate to. You're saying, well, I'm just doing this for you. No, we all pay for that. We all use that. And your business could not survive. Your capitalism could not survive without me participating and paying for those roads, right? So there are things that you can agree upon. But these kids in colleges who hear that argument from Charlie Kirk's and Ben Shapiro's and whatnot, they have not heard that, and they don't. It's like you're not skilled enough at that age to know the proper response for that. Yeah, what about your fire department? Don't we all pay for that? What about the police department? Don't we all pay for that? And when it comes to education, isn't our society better served by a population that is well educated? That's the argument. But they can't make that. All they gonna know is we went there and this semi-adult, this 20, whatever he was when he started, 25, or he says this with authority. See, there's no such thing as free lunch. You want me to pay for your lunch, and that resonates with them, and that's how they're changing minds. So the idea is, if you target young people enough with people who look like them, but are more skilled in positioning ideas, that they don't have the skill to even critically question it and think about it in terms of, what are you actually saying free lunch? Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like he's right. He shouldn't have to pay for me. He's not paying for you. We all put the money in. The money is there. It's how we choose to divvy it up. And so to make that argument, but he makes those, and the abortion stuff he uses similar tactics of, well, so what if a woman decides she wanted a girl but then finds out it's going to be a boy? Does she have a right to? So it's just a lifestyle choice. You just want people to just be able to make up their own mind and just have sex and get pregnant on purpose, and then decide they don't want it and just kill the fetus 9 months in. No, that's not the position here. The position here is a woman should not be forced to give birth under the threat of going to jail. And that's basically, but They're positioning this to kids who have not had the arguments thought out and kind of presented both sides fairly in a way before. So when they hear this this young person who looks like them, who seems to be an authority, they just take his word for it and don't critically challenge him on it. And that's why I'm thinking we got, as old as we got to get some young people who will share common sense and are critically trained, critically thinking, trained to go to these campuses. The Adam Mocklers of the world, the Kyle Kalinskis, even go to college campuses, get off your fucking podcast and do what the Ben Shapiros and the Charlie Kirks and all these right wingers are doing. Go talk to them directly, give them a microphone, say, let's have a conversation. I think Steven Crowder stopped doing that. I think he got beat up, is why he stopped doing that. Beat up wouldn't have been so bad, right? I think we would agree that if Charlie Kirk only got beat up.
Well, but didn't Big Balls just get beat up and they sent the National Guard into D.C.?
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing is this Fetterman, Pennsylvania. Come get your ogre. He's actually saying he believes that the National Guard is warranted in Chicago. You know how many murders they have there, so it is never warranted to have martial law unless there is really seriously they're burning down houses and killing. We're at full civil war. There's no call for the military to get involved in this. We can agree that crime, violent crime, is a problem, and we need to deal with it. But to say that we need military force to deal with all of it, and where's your papers, and checking everybody's ID, that's unconstitutional. It's not what we're about, and that is complete erosion of freedom. I know I'm on a fucking soapbox today here.
It's funny because a lot of the guns that are in Chicago come from the southern states. They're not being manufactured in Chicago, and as a matter of fact, Illinois has some pretty strict gun laws, but people are bringing them in from other places,
right?
And so, go ahead, get the guns out of put the National Guard on the border of Illinois, where the guns are coming from, and stop all the cars coming across into Illinois and search them for guns and search the trucks for guns.
And also the fact that this not just opens the door. This is complete profiling, whether it's racial profiling or just tight. He looks like, oh, look, he's a young man driving a hot rod or whatever. He must be a criminal. They're profiling based on looks and stopping people on looks. Let me see your papers. I don't have my ID on me. You're going to jail, and we're taking you away without due process. Nobody knows where you are. This is what's happening. This is out of control fascism. This is what the Nazis did. And for Fetterman to support that, Pennsylvania, you made a fucking big mistake. This was the best you could do against fucking Oz. I know that's how he won, because Oz was such a bad choice for Pennsylvania. But Fetterman, come on, we got to get rid of this guy. I mean, he's got 5 more years in there. He might as well just put an R next to his name and just start wearing a MAGA hat, because he's down with all of it. Yeah. Lastly, last thing on politics.
All they gotta do is take away his computer. He won't be able to talk. No, I'm just actually no. He uses something to enhance his speech, because I think
fucking hide his shorts. He won't be able to leave the house. On the murder, and listen, they could have been drug dealers for all we know, but they could have not been drug dealers. The 11 Venezuelans who got blown up in a boat. That's cold-blooded murder. No due process. No verifying that they're even moving drugs. We just suspect they're moving drugs and blowing them up.
And the boat actually was in the process of turning around once they saw that they were about to be engaged. They were turning, as I understand it, they were turning around. So they probably wouldn't even coming to the United States.
Right. So a reporter asked Trump about the illegal killing of 11 people without due process in a boat. And Trump's response was, you know what's illegal? 300 million people died last year from illegal drugs in the United States. That's what's illegal. 300 million. Let me repeat this for the math challenge out there. 300 million Americans died from illegal drugs last year alone. That's not counting
so that's only
accidental
400 million
deaths.
people left.
What?
So there's less than 40 million people left in the country.
Those 40 million people, I mean, deaths from accidents, from disease, all those other things account for the other 40 million. Nobody is left. They basically, everybody over the age of 4 has been eliminated in the United States of America due to illegal drugs, according to Donald Trump. And for him to just boldly say that, and the reporter not to say, do you have any idea what the population, just off, like a rough guess what the population of the United States is? Nobody has the balls to ever kind of just, wait a minute. That is the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard a politician say. Anybody say is that, you know what? They killed 300 million of us. It's only 340 million of us. And 40 million of us die other ways every fucking year. So you're saying I don't exist? I died? Why didn't anybody tell me? I don't have to fucking put up with you now. This is where we are, America. I mean, we can't move forward on this until we get sanity, and sanity is not to be found. It's just not to be found. On another note, we only have one guest book this week. I have some
and
other
on Friday.
Yeah, and it's not the Admiral Thomas R. Wilson. This is another Thomas R. Wilson who wants to talk about empathy. Oddly enough, I think he booked this before Charlie Kirk died, because, as we know, Charlie Kirk proved there is no such thing as empathy. We don't deserve empathy. It's a bad thing. It's an invention of the left. Empathy it didn't occur before 249 years ago, when the American left started happening.
Well,
I'm sorry, I talked the whole time. I know you talked for 10 minutes before, or 15 minutes before. Listen to me,
the weirdest thing is, because you just popped out, I was not ready for. It's like, oh shit, where did Matt go?
I gotta get these computers straightened out. I go to bed at night and they're working fine. I wake up in the morning and can't get the camera on this one. I gotta switch them around, whatever.
I was caught in this dilemma of my own making. And that's because once I realized that was just me, my instinct is to start burning through my material. In other words, just go straight into stand up. And I didn't want to do that because I'm still working on that material.
Yeah. No, you know what? If I were you, and this, I'm not in any way like telling you, but if I were you, my mindset would be, fuck it. If things go wrong, it's all I'm mad. I'm just going to wait here because I'm going to catch all the fucking, why wasn't there a show you started late? If there is any of that. And I don't think there is any of that. But no matter what happens, the target of the angst will always be me. You could just sit there and twiddle your thumbs and laugh and just wait for my hate mail to come in. That's what.
Remember when you ran away and I got on my knees and begged you not to leave because I go berserk? When you said twiddle your thumbs, that's what I thought of.
Now that was we were talking about Dr. Demento last week. That was Dr. Demento played that all the time, and I always thought that was Dr. Demento. Do we know who actually did that record?
I did know, and I keep forgetting. Honestly, because it's yes. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's actually in my playlist on YouTube. It shows up once in a while. They're coming to take me away. All right, they're coming
to take me away. Ha ha ho ho he he.
All right, here they're coming to take me away, and Napoleon the 14th.
Wow.
Okay, Napoleon the 14th.
Now, did he? I wonder how much money he died with. I'm certain he's dead, right? Because that was when I was a little kid. That was, and I'm old. But I wonder, that's got to be his only song. But it got played a lot.
Well, that may be his only song under that name too.
Oh yeah, could be.
Let me see. I think his real name was Jerry Samuels. I'm trying to figure that out now.
Oh. Uh,
Yeah, I think his name was Jerry Samuels. Let's see.
It's not like it was in the top 40 rotation and played constantly over and over again, like a Taylor Swift song would be today. But it got played enough that everybody my age knows that song and heard it on the radio. And I'm just thinking there had to be some. But then again, the record companies would rip you off in those days and lie to you about how many times it got played.
It's true, but we bought the record. You know, we bought the record, and I used to play it a lot. I used to play it a lot.
That's a 45. Was there something on the other side?
Yes, yeah. The other side was the same song but backwards. So it was like
Satanic.
You know,
Satanic.
and I used to be able to do. I used to listen to that so much that I could do all those little sounds and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I played that a lot.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Anna Diarmas on my. For some reason, she's on my Instagram page, and she's just. I want to move to Cuba if that's what all the women look like there.
That's not what they all look like.
It's a tease. It's what Cuba puts out to suck you in the door.
Right.
And then you get there and you find out they're all.
There's 4 that look like that, and they're all taken.
My God, I hope she never gets old. Well, that would mean I hope she dies. I don't hope she dies. I just stay.
Yeah, because there's only 2 choices. We grow old or we die.
Stay golden, pony boy. That's all I'm saying to her. If you get that, do you get that reference? Stay golden, pony boy.
Yeah, that's from Reservoir Dogs. I have no idea.
The Outsiders. Francis Ford Coppola with Ralph Macchio. It was Tom Cruise's first film, actually. I think The Outsiders. It was the. I think The Outsiders. Somebody in the chat room, if there is anybody, is there anybody in the chat room? We've been ignoring them.
Well, Slaptail bailed me out earlier by asking me about my music influences, where they came from, and they're all over the place. My music influences are all over the place.
Well, this is the deal. Sorry to steal your deal here, but if we do end up splitting the country in two, we're getting all the good music, all the good art, all the good movies. You can have fucking Ted Nugent and Scott Baio and Kevin Sorbo. I mean, and you can have Mel Gibson. Fuck him. I mean, he made some good movies back in the day, but who needs them? We got plenty. So if we split the country in two, when you talk about musical influences, when they talk about art, what do they fucking got? You could have it. And when you talk about diversity, America, what will we be if left to the artistic or creative energies of the white Europeans? What we would be is waltzes,
river dance, maybe river dances.
Oh my God, it would be so. I mean. So all these people should be banned from eating like Mexican food. They should be banned from listening to soul music or R&B music or even the blues. They take the blues away from you. You're not entitled. You're not for diversity. You're not for including all of these ethnic elements that came from people who are not like you.
Yeah, there's a musical called Kaylee. I think it's called Kaylee, and it's basically like I think it's like Scottish. Okay, but in the musical, they have one black woman and one Asian woman, I think. Now I'm not opposed to the diversity, but I'm more of a realistic kind of guy. If you go to Scotland and listen, I don't think there's one single black Scottish person or Asian Scottish person over there. If that's what it is, I think that's what it is. The Scots are the ones with the Celts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, Irish have kilts too, but not. I think the Scots they're like women more. Whatever.
I think when the Scots wear kilts, they don't wear anything underneath of it. When the Irish wear kilts, there's usually hiding a bottle of.
All right, here's an interesting little tidbit for you. I did some reels from Dan Pasternak, and some of them did very well. The one that did not do well at all was
Milton
The
Berle.
Shocking Truth About Milton Berle's dick. I think Shocking Truth About Milton Berle's dick. I think has less than 50 views.
Wow.
Wouldn't you think?
I would think the fact that what was the title? How did you title it?
The Shocking Truth About Milton Berle's character K.
I don't think it was a people's choice. I think it was a algorithm choice. I think that you did that. It was like we're not going to push this.
It gave me a good score on the title because I have this tool that scores everything.
Yeah, it's a great title. We're not going to show it though. It's a great title. We're not going to show it.
And the thumbnail, they chose the thumbnail. Now the thumbnail is Milton Berle in a white robe with a big glowing angel thing around his midsection there.
Yeah, we're not going to show it.
They chose that.
It's like two different departments. There's the department. There's the we'll make this look popular department, and there's but we're not going to endorse it department.
I'm a little disappointed that
I don't know how algorithms work. Obviously,
more people aren't going to see that Milton Berle thing now, because I think that was the highlight of the program. I mean, for what it's silly, it's old man, it's like hee dick joke, but it's not just a dick joke. It's like it's the wonder because Milton Berle was not a black man. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I think he was. That's why they called him Uncle Milty.
Well, he must have had some black blood in him somewhere, right?
But most of it rushed to his penis when he stood up.
Jewish guys, it's not like I go around inspecting Jewish guys, but Jewish guys they were the first to get the piece cut off.
I don't know, because they do that in Africa too. They just don't do it as babies. They do that when you become at age 13.
Oh, I was not aware of that, but okay, so I'm wrong about that. But they're not known for in cultural, like, oh, we must have a big cock. It's black guys, Italian guys, and listen, as an Italian guy, I could tell you, in my case, that gene skipped me. But I got the girth, but not the length. But the idea, Jewish guys are not known for having big cocks, so that's an anomaly right there. So I mean, but the wonders of.
But also, Milton Berle was like what, 6-something? He was very tall. He was not a petite man, right?
Right. Yeah. The one thing we didn't get, and this is on me, didn't ask Dan Pasternak about, because I'm certain he was representing Milton Berle during this time. Remember the MTV Music Awards when Milton Berle was chose to present an award with RuPaul. And RuPaul, because Milton Berle was a drag performer in the 50s, he had drag on his Texas. And RuPaul was very angry that she, whatever, had to present with Milton Berle. She felt like that was trivializing him as a person and what he did. And he was like basically intimidating Milton Berle, like he was going to beat him up. He was very tall in the high heels and whatever. But I would love to have asked Dan his take on that, because Milton definitely seemed scared at the podium. He was like frightened that RuPaul might hurt him in some way. But we'll never know unless we get Dan back.
I was wrong. Milton Berle was only 5'10".
Yeah, he didn't look big next to RuPaul. As soon as you said 6 foot, I thought, well, he could have been tall, but RuPaul was almost a foot taller in those heels.
But RuPaul may have been wearing heels also. But now Sid Caesar, I did know he was tall, but I didn't know he was 6'2".
Wow.
I did not know I knew that he was a big man, and especially based on the stories that Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner would tell, and that also he could be very intimidating, physically intimidating when he lost his temper.
Yeah. So that I would have loved to hear Dan say. I don't think anybody's ever asked him about that, and he might have been uncomfortable talking about it, but I didn't get it. I was stupid.
I'll ask him. But I won't see him until I won't get to talk to him until like November.
Wow. He said because he's on the road and doing all those.
Right, he's on the road until he told me to call him October 31st.
Halloween.
Yeah.
2 blocks from here, there is a house that is been so Halloweened up. I mean, with this 30-foot skeleton coming out of the lawn, like gigantic skeleton thing coming out of the lawn. They've been that way for a couple of weeks now. Driving past, I was like, you gotta really fucking love Halloween to get 50 days in advance, because it was 2 weeks ago that they started putting this stuff out. At least 50 days in advance from Halloween to go out and like dress up your entire property like it's a Halloween haunted house exhibit. It's not. It's just a regular house on the block. I mean, people get I could see Christmas
I
being
don't
that.
even see. Look, I don't even see Christmas. I don't see doing it for any. Well, obviously I don't,
I
because I don't
wouldn't.
do it. I don't
Yeah.
do it for any occasion. The closest thing to dressing up my house is when we're doing comedy here. When we convert the basement into a comedy club, I put my floppy guy out front.
Oh, and
That's
that is,
it.
yeah, and that would be like not even noticed in all this Halloween. That's how big the Halloween exhibit is. Like that would have been just a little extra
Yeah,
throw in that you wouldn't even notice.
yep. I put a floppy guy out front, and the neighbors know. Oh, he's doing comedy in his basement. Look, there's going to be cars in the driveway.
Well, either that or he's a lunar. Remember the Lunars? You know about the Lunars? I told you about the Lunars.
Those are the people with the balloons that they put a party on.
Yeah, and they put balloons on their well, cars don't have antennas, but back when they had antennas, they would tie balloons on their antennas to let people driving by know that this is a lunar house. Oh, you have one for every room in the house. Look at you.
Yeah, but the one that goes outside is like 6-7 feet tall.
Did we lose Sunshine and from Bakersfield? That they've abandoned us, or
They're not in the Govs chat. Or if they're in the Govs chat, they're not chatting.
Did I say something to piss them off? Probably.
I don't know. The last thing I saw, remember seeing, was one of them. I think it was one of them saying, "Have a good weekend."
I've been doing my best to just ignore the existence of Blind Mike, and I didn't even want to mention him this, but
you don't have to say his name. You just.
I do have to in this case. Yeah, okay. I get it. But I got at least a dozen emails yesterday from people trying to tell me what Blind Mike is saying, why I need to know what he's saying. One person actually summarized it for me, so I didn't have. Basically, according to what I read in this email yesterday, he is equating or just saying that Charlie Kirk's murder is part of cancel culture, and he was, according to
he was canceled, sure,
cancel culture, and according to him, according to the email, he is taking some blame for it on himself for not being more of the he said he stopped being a cancel culture warrior due to pressure from some people or something, and he's actually, because I said last week he's not a person who could admit doing wrong. I think what this person in the email was saying, he's admitting he made a mistake by not staying on this cancel culture thing. This is not cancel culture. Charlie Kirk was not I mean, if you want to get literal, sure, his life was canceled, but that wasn't. It's not like it's not the same thing as people saying, I don't like what so and so said. Don't watch that. Let's boycott the channel. Let's not hire him at this comedy club. It has nothing to do with that. It has far more to do with this idea of young white men feeling like nobody is representing them, and they get their jollies on the video game. The young black men, I don't think so, get influenced by video games like the gun culture. I know there's gun culture in hip hop music too, but let's face it, the bigger audience in hip hop is these young white men too. I don't know that we stereotype it and say, well, it's a lot of black artists, so it must be black people listening to it. I think the biggest audience for hip hop is young white men. That's what I see driving around with it. What's so loud in their car, you wonder how they're fucking sitting in the car with the speakers.
Well, I guess black people would do it too, but they'd get pulled over.
That could be. It could
You know,
be.
I'm look, because when I was growing up, I mean, there were, you know, if you're black or Hispanic, and if your car didn't have big bass speakers, you know, boom, 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 you know, but it got to be where it wasn't worth it. You would, even if you had it in there and you used it, the police would be all over your ass. So you'd have it, and the only time you use it would be like at parties or something, like have, you know, block parties. You block the, you know, have the streets blocked off, and you're using them there. You know, that's it.
I can't imagine how some of these dudes sit in a car because I'm 10 cars away and it is rattling my skull and I can feel my teeth vibrating in my head. And I can't imagine like sitting on top of that. Uh, It's insane, but somehow that's enjoyable. Go figure. I like bass too, but not like that. Not like where
I don't think it's not like it's enjoyable to the body. I think it's more enjoyable from the attention you get. You know, I mean, I don't think that's any different than anything else that people do just to get attention, like the Halloween house, the Halloween decoration. You know, I don't, you know, it's just I need attention. You know, like I said, I don't need attention like that. If the attention, I don't, you know, be more from, I guess, things that take talent, I guess, I suppose. I'm not certain.
let me get a copyright strike, not a strike, but a notice here. I want to let this kid articulate this stuff here for us. Let me.
Ended Charlie Kirk's life was engraved with a 12-year-old furry bashing meme. Notice.
I'm sharing the wrong thing here. What's that? Oh,
You got the picture from one thing and the audio from something else.
that's weird. I don't want to do that. Why? I got to do it here. Remove. And yeah, and
line sort of became a meme in image boards where it would be deployed to kind of represent, you know, ending an argument, but almost
very
more so
low.
as just like, if you know, you know, and that sort of signals the in-group there. Another of the four casings references Bella Ciao, which is an Italian anti-fascist anthem from the World War II era that has stuck around and remained very popular online. It's been used both in left and right-wing political contexts, and it's used in a lot of video games. And then the fourth and final shell casing was engraved with, "If you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO." This was a shitpost. It was designed to be maximally disruptive and incomprehensible, cloaked in layer upon layer of irony so that nobody would know what he really meant unless they were our guy. This performs a kind of nihilism that plays really, really well on particular image boards and Discord servers where this guy spent most of his life. And I say most of his life because that furry meme is from 2013. He was 10 years old when it was first posted and became popular. He, like you and I, grew up alongside this part of the internet that trickled out through the other platforms that we went on and has actually informed and driven a lot of our politics. Half of the administration right now is content creators, and all of the guys who are wearing masks going out on these deportation raids, the guys who are staffers of Republican members of Congress in these different executive departments, the guys who are 19 years old called in by Elon to Doge things, these are all Reddit kids. These are all guys who were on 4chan in 2013, laughing at that furry meme. Now, the question everybody's asking is, was this kid a groiper? And the question everybody's parents are asking is, what is a groiper? So groipers are the most extreme fringe of this kind of image board nihilistic culture that I'm talking about. They're led by Nick Fuentes, who is a content creator and a streamer, and they really are about transgressing any boundary that exists. They are like explicitly white nationalists, really bad, horrible people. The name Groiper originates from this variant of Pepe the Frog, which comes about in the late 2010s, and these guys adopt it as a kind of collective self-portrait. They make it their profile picture, they make it their moniker. There was the Groiper War of 2019, in which Nick Fuentes and his people trolled Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, showing up at these debate events and asking questions that would push Kirk to say things that were even more extreme than Kirk was already saying. So where Charlie Kirk took like one step toward these kind of white or Christian nationalist ideas, the Groipers took two steps. They demanded that he make the subtext text. One post people have been citing as proof of the Groiper hypothesis is this one from his mother's Facebook that shows him dressed up as a meme for Halloween. It seems like the meme is Gopnik Pepe, which is a 4chan meme to my understanding, but I don't quite associate it with Poll, which is like the political board on 4chan that most people are talking about it. I see it more as like a K meme and sort of like a rare Pepe type thing. But again, like many Pepe or Groiper memes, the core of this is a lonely male figure in sort of an immiserated landscape looking sad. And that's part of the story I wish more people were talking about. What's driving our political violence isn't just polarization, where one side is getting more radical and kind of undermining democracy, nor is it algorithms, like some have said, that are like pickling the brains of young people. It is that feeling, which these Pepe memes represent, of you're always going to be alone, you're never going to have a future, and you're never going to have a voice. And that
All right. So that's basic. That kid. This is the part of the thing where I said you're not talking to people. These are the kind of people that guy needs to talk to. That old man that I was arguing with. This is a guy who lives in that life. He's in that world. We're not doing. And parents have ignored this kind of let's let your computer babysit your kid. Let's leave him in the room. You don't know what he's doing in there. This is how we got here, and I don't know how you reverse that ever. It's just like that. If they've already 10, 15 years into this kind of mindset of this whole other dark web world and feeling like this case said, like they're never going to have any hope. The world is just going to be a very dark place. And so the way to get infamy is, martyr somebody and you will be famous. You might be dead, but at least people will know your name, type of thing, which is fucking crazy as it is. But this is what we need to do: have more of these people present their ideas to the people who are trying to figure it out, because the old people have no fucking clue what's really going. You never heard of Groyper until today. I never heard of it until last week.
Yeah, I did hear of that Peppy Frog meme. I did know about that.
Yeah.
I think people like that guy speaking out, but to be honest, most of those guys are, like I said, lonely. And I think this is where legalized prostitution comes into it. Get them out of their room and into a woman, so to speak. That's I'm sorry, I know it sounds a little crass, but that's, that happens with old married men as well. People who feel lonely, they turn to prostitution.
I'm not gonna disagree with you there, but I would also add that's fine if you want to go down that way. But social skills and learning how to learning how to deal with women.
That's where I was going to go next. That's where I was going to go next. Is that they need the female version of the guy that was just talking, explaining to them, okay, I understand you're lonely, but you're also compounding that loneliness, because if what you want is someone like me, you're not going to find me there. You're going to find me out here.
Well,
and that's a scary place. That's a scary place to be, out here.
Charlie Kirk was on a podcast debating an OnlyFans girl and kind of blaming her for the condition of young men being awkward, shy, weak, not assertive with women, and not knowing how to deal with women. And she's like, it's not my fault. You're blaming this being pornographic. They'll say, "Oh, you're such a pretty face. I want to come all over it." It's like, the problem is not me. You know what? I'm providing a service that somewhat keeps these guys in. If they can beat off, they're not gonna take that angst out of the house. They've left it in a tissue or something. But so they reject this. When I say they, I'm talking about conservative rights, the Christian conservative rights. They reject any attempt to find some outlet, some healthy sexual release for these guys who are just, they don't know how to talk to one. They don't know how to talk to them.
It doesn't have to be a sexual release. It just has to be a creative release. The energy is the same. The creative energy and the sexual energy are the exact same energy. It's just a matter of how it's manifesting. And that's when it's, so yeah, if they had something creative other than because then it's not being creative in those just rooms. They're not creating stuff. They're mimicking stuff.
Right.
And mimicking is not the same as being creative.
Yeah. To be fair, when my nephew first showed me Grand Theft Auto, it had to be 20 years ago now, I think, probably close to it anyway. I was like, this can't be good for kids, because it was promoting, just pull up and kill somebody, and it was funny for them. And I was like, even as what I was 40 something, early 40s, thinking this is not a good thing to get kids hooked on. Is like this idea that you can just drive around the city and find targets to kill and steal their cars. But there was a lot of violence in the game, and hookers and all this stuff. And like, he was not a adolescent at the time, but even then, I remember having a debate with him about, this is not good. Why are you finding entertainment in this thing? I just go watch a movie or something. Watch Rambo if you need to get your violence. Not that I don't, but encouraging them to just interact with the violence. I don't know.
Children, children are impressionable. Period. That's how we learn. That's how children learn. We've been learned by imitating grown-ups and other human beings. So if you have a child and you're not there for them to mimic, if you're not there for them to learn from, they're going to learn something. And if it's from TV, I mean, look, I tried to fly because my book, Peter Pan, gave me instructions on how to fly. I just didn't know what fairy dust was. So I took some sand and sprinkled it on my head and jumped and did not fly. I fell. I fell hard.
Let me just, before you go on, I just want to point out a major difference between GD and I. Peter Pan. I was jumping off my roof thinking I was Superman with a cape, because I'm a real man. Peter Pan, come on. This is what we're dealing with. This is why American men.
The difference is Superman didn't come with a manual. He was born an alien. So I already knew I wasn't an alien. I was not going to try that. Peter Pan was a regular boy. They gave you instructions on how to fly. You think positive thoughts, a happy thought, and you throw some fairy dust on your head. See, the problem was I didn't have any fairy dust.
I wouldn't even know about those instructions.
Yeah, they were in the book. If you read the Peter Pan book, the instructions are there. You just have to know.
I wouldn't read the book because it was in the gay section of the bookstore. That's not true.
And the same thing with Batman. I tried to make a bat, the little bat rope thing that he had, where he would throw and it would wrap around and he'd climb. I tried that, and the only thing I had was a hanger. I had a hanger. And
so you were an abortionist?
Yes. Well, it was part-time. So I had a hanger and a rope, and I throw it up there, and I hook it around, and I start climbing. The rope was strong enough. The hanger wasn't. And I fell hard. But the thing is, and my father showed up. He always showed up too late. He wasn't there to stop me from doing it. He was there, like, after I'd done it, he'd be like, oh, God. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
and asking me what the fuck is wrong with me didn't stop me from trying to be Spider-Man and climb up a wall and almost breaking my wrist.
No, I would have answered it in the obvious way. What the fuck is wrong with me? I can't fly. That's what the fuck is wrong with me. I wouldn't want. Listen, Sandy Dennis. What is? It was a woman, and obviously a woman, who played Peter Pan, and she was trying to play a boy. And
quite a few times. It was because the one time it was Sandy Duncan,
right? That's what.
And there's another woman I think before her, but I can't remember her name.
Yeah, you're not fooling me. That's not a boy. Oh, that's not a boy. That's a girl. Stop. You're not fooling me. I'm Charlie Kirk. Let's define what a woman is. We know what a woman is. So that's why, but the Superman thing and the Batman thing, I had a bat computer and all that and bat cave. I had all, created all that fantasy world for myself. So young boys have not changed. What the content and the kind of things that are influencing them have changed dramatically.
Yeah, we used to play Army. We used to take the garbage can lids and they were shields, and they were throwing rocks at each other, have slingshots and shooting at each other with zip guns. Kids, like I said, they're going to imitate something. And if you're a smart parent, you choose what they're going to imitate and let it be you if you can be. That's my little girl Danielle used to ask me on more than one occasion, because I was just her stepfather, wasn't her actual father. Her actual father was not in her life. And she used to say to me, Dad, why are you so good to me when you're not my real father? And I said, because two things. I said, one, that's, my job is to raise you the best I can. And two, I am the figure of a man in your life. And when you get older, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to pick a man just like me, or you're going to pick a man the exact opposite of me. I can't make you make that choice. That's usually what they do. They either say, I love my father, I want a man just like my father, or my father was a dick, and I'm going to pick somebody not like him. Or my father was really nice, and I think that's weak, so I'm going to pick somebody who I think is strong. So I'm going to be the best possible example of a man that I can be for you. So that if you do decide to pick a man that's like me, he's going to be good to you and take care of you and never abuse you. But if you pick someone the opposite of me, as soon as the abuse starts, you're going to say, wait a second, I don't have to have this. I know what it is to not be abused. So be
Not,
present. Yeah.
I'm not sure I totally agree with that.
You have to, yeah.
In my life, the women who chose me would just, and I don't think it had anything to do with their fathers. They were just looking for, they could fix and they could save from bad behavior or whatever they thought I was on. Most of the women, they had stable fathers that didn't need fixing, but they were their fathers. Almost every woman, every relationship I ever been with had come from a divorced family. I can't remember a girlfriend I knew. Oh yeah, I had one whose father was in her life, but her father and mother stayed married. But the father was so old that by the time she was born, he was like 60. So she really didn't know him that well. But for me, I know I was a project. That's what I was to every woman who's ever been with me. I used to say, because they wanted to buy me clothes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not saying that we're not fixer-uppers. Okay. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I'm saying the type of fixer-upper that you choose is based on the father image. That's on, and I still believe that, that, yeah, you're going to make choices. You make choices based on your experiences. Either what you're looking for, the comfortable thing that reminds you of the good stuff, or you look for the stuff that helps you act out, your demons, you know?
Well, there's certainly some aspect. Like I knew one girl, and I wrote a song about her. I want to hear it. It goes like this. She was abused, and her mother was abused by her father. And every guy and I know she wanted me to hit her, and I wouldn't hit her, and that's why we didn't get along. But every boyfriend she had ended up being a beater, and it seemed like she gravitated towards guys. And if they didn't immediately go to that being abusive, she tried to get them. She did things to try to get them to use their hands on her. So
Yeah.
there's something to that. I don't know.
I was with somebody, and every time she left me 3 times. She left me twice and came back 3 times, or whatever it is. Like, we were together. I guess that counts one. Then she left. We broke up, and she picked somebody who was abusive. Came back, and I didn't abuse her. And she left me again. Went to somebody who was abusive. Then wanted to come back again, and I said, no. You know the difference. You obviously haven't learned your lesson, so you need to learn something. You can't be with me because I'm not going to keep going back and forth like this. And I think that's the last time I actually went back with someone who broke up with me. That was it. That was like the last straw.
Yeah.
No, I did it one more time after that, but that was the last straw.
Wow. Last straw. So, whatever. I think young men definitely we need to take the phones away from them. I'm sorry. Limit. Hate to be one of these guys. Limit your screen time for your kids. I think it will be healthier. Get them to fucking play in the dirt. Go. Let them go.
Okay, Governor of Utah. No, I'm just teasing.
Why did he say play? Let them play in the dirt.
Oh, he said, gotta get outside. Get outside and play in the grass, I think is what he said.
Ah, Well, you really, I mean, there's
Oh
nothing
no,
wrong with it.
I'm not disagreeing with him. I agree with him.
Yeah.
No, yes.
He seemed to have been influenced by a phone call. He got a Brian Kemp phone call from Trump after he gave his initial uh, assessment of the crime. Trump called him up and said, "No, you got to get on this anti-trans thing," and all like pressured. And then he seemed to have folded under Trump's orders and decided he had to give a second presser that was far more right-leaning.
That was the very first. Let's see, the very first. The very first thing I did that was headlines. Whatever it was when I was trying to make when I was starting to write for the Reverend to do the headlines and punchlines. I can't remember when that was. When the first one was. It was like September 12th, maybe. No, before that. It had to be the 11th because Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the 10th. And so I did the first one, I think, on the 11th. Right. And the Charlie Kirk thing was, it said something like, and they're going to look for, they haven't found, they're looking for the the liberal trans, one more description, person to fit that narrative, minority, maybe it's an immigrant. Yeah, they're looking for the liberal trans immigrant to tie it all together, and they're trying. The only thing missing now is the immigrant part.
Yeah. Well, this whole idea that the trans person had something to do with it.
Yeah,
The trans person. Listen, I don't want to sound like one. I think when a young man in today's society it gets involved, whether it's gay or trans or whatever, there is this judgment, and even though that's a choice they make, they feel like their friends and family are holding that against them. And there's all the gay jokes, the trans jokes, or whatever. They don't feel comfortable necessarily in their choices that they made. They feel like there is still, no matter what, there's going to be judgment based on it and all that kind of stuff. And I think that does play into, if we're going to say that the trans element played into this at all, it played into fucking with this guy's psyche because society won't let him do it, even though that he decided for himself that was going to make him happy. There's still a degree of guilt or shame attached to the decisions he's making. We can't just let people be happy being who they are. We have to say there's something wrong with it. And if you do that to enough people, again, coming back to this idea that the Tony who sent me the email about Blind Mike saying it was cancel culture. It's not cancel culture. People are not reacting to as hard as this, and everybody's got their take on it. This is my take, and I know, but I think I'm right. Of course, I think I'm right, or I wouldn't be saying it. People are not. Charlie Kirk didn't get shot because of the words he said. He got shot because of the fear he represented. This guy, or anybody who gets, and you could take this to any of the assassinations. Martin Luther King did not get shot because of the words he said. He got shot because of the threat that people perceived him to be, whether that was right or wrong. They perceived him to be a threat to their way of life. And that's why he needed to be taken out in their mind. It wasn't because of the words he was said. It was what he represented in the change he was going to bring about. And I think the idea that this person saw Charlie Kirk as a threat to his well-being, this is a fear. He's afraid that his life is going to be changed in a significant way because of the things that will be imposed because of people like Charlie Kirk, not because of the words, the actual words he said. Sure, the words played a part in the perception that he was going to change the world in this way, but at the end of the day, it was his inner perception of the fear. It was the inner perception of the fear of Martin Luther King. It was the inner perception of the fear of John Kennedy. Every assassination is about fear of what they represent and what they're going to do to my world. They're going to rock my world in a way that is unacceptable to me. and the only thing I can think of is I have to stop them. I say I only have one thing to say about? I'm not necessarily talking about Charlie Kirk here. I'm talking about the kid, but yeah, that is funny. But I'm talking about the kid and the people and our reaction to, and the sense that we know what was going on in this kid's mind. All I can tell you about what was going on in this kid's mind. He was afraid. Anybody who kills somebody. Have you ever pointed a rifle at somebody? Like a real rifle, not a BB gun or something, pointed one at another human being?
I've had pointed at me. I've never pointed one at someone.
Yeah, I have pointed one at a target and had a tough time pulling the trigger. And when I did
Okay, I did not see. I did that, but that wasn't a person, and I didn't have a problem with the target.
I did have somewhat not like I thought I was killing somebody, but it was just like, the idea in my head and behind pulling the trigger is that what if I'm such a bad shot that it ricochets off and fucking hits something and hurts somebody?
Now, see, I didn't have that fear at all. Matter of fact, when I had the rifle, I was imagining a particular person when I hit the bullseye. So,
Wow.
yeah,
So, but
I had a target in mind.
It's not the point I was making. It's not an easy thing to point a gun at another human being and pull the trigger and
Right,
think
that's
you're
true.
ending their life. And for that to happen, it takes more than just words. It is rooted in the inner fear, the perception of what that person represents to you. He's a threat to you. So, whenever we see somebody kill somebody, it's almost always that, unless it's this kind of, or somebody who is desperate and doing evil to survive, like robbing somebody in the act of a robbery or something like that. That's desperation of poverty and don't see a way out, and this is my only way. But it's very rare that somebody just said something, because it's so easy just to turn them off, to walk away, to block them, whatever. You don't have to listen to them. And so the idea that it was a cancel culture, just it seems shallow and a simple excuse for what happened. It wasn't about stopping his words. It was about stopping the fear that he represented. Anyway, I have reached out to a couple of people to be on there. We can't just do this fucking 3 more days before we get a guest who wants to talk about empathy. So I reached out to Mark Maron last night. Haven't heard back from him yet, but I think I spent a good hour and 20 minutes crafting a letter that I thought would convince him, saying, Robert Klein mentioned him and Dan Pasternak.
Mary Trump. Maybe we can get her.
You know what? I'm on her mailing list, and I can't even bother to read her because.
Okay, never mind.
Well, I just feel like she's not. Nobody cares. Nobody cares of that. She's not influencing anybody. Because if she was, we'd see. This is his family who have outed him, but we saw Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s family disavow him, and then people still rally around him. It's like nobody cares that your family doesn't love you. There's always the.
I think it's because most people's families don't love them anyway.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like we can always dismiss that as, well, how do you look at you? You don't talk to your brother? Yeah, that's right. So
yeah, like you said, and then there's a saying: a prophet is never welcomed in their own home. And it doesn't matter if the prophet's a good prophet or a bad prophet; they're just never welcomed in their own home. So you could have a terrible prophet, and they wouldn't be welcomed. And all the prophets, good and bad, would identify with not being welcomed in their own home, and they would prophets unite, even though they're.
And let me just I know Slaptail was being funny here, but you missed it. It was not 45 minutes ago. It was an hour and 45 minutes ago. All right, let's be clear on that. Yeah. So I mean, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to get in any more open mic or people who've been. Oh yeah, I just started comedy a week ago. What's there to talk about with these people? Nothing. So I could get them for guests, but who wants them? I mean, I'm sorry, who wants them? Who needs them at this point? We've talked to enough of them. We know what first weeker or first monther or first 6-monther open comedy mic people represent. We know the mindset. We've talked to enough of them that we don't need to I mean, if they have something to promote, I'll be happy to have them on for a few minutes to say, yes, please come to my show. But there's nothing to talk to these people about for an hour and a half or something, or even an hour.
Yeah, that's why I generally don't want to talk to comedians that have been doing it for less than 3 years.
Yeah. And, people that have something unique, a different angle that we haven't looked at before, whatever that might be. But just to have comedians on because they are trying to make it in comedy, so that we could tell them everything that we did that doesn't work. So you don't learn from my mistakes, boy. Don't make them. That's what that's my message to the young comedians in the world.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Don't do what I do. Don't do it. Don't do as I do or as I say.
Yeah. Slaptail, you still there? Did you? Because he's got the open mics and stuff going. I don't know. I just don't know how anybody could go out there and do a show right now and not just feel the weight hanging over all of us. And like, there was Lori Kilmartin shared a video of a guy he was in San Antonio Laugh Factory or something, and he was saying, "Well, I'm not going to do jokes about what happened in the news this week," and that's as far as I think he can go in acknowledging the elephant in the room and not just making come on, we're trying to escape this stuff, right? We'll move on. Let's talk about how Nate Bargatze is a fucking sellout. I'm sorry. I have never been in the position where somebody would want to offer me a lot of money to do something that is just so phony and so fucking fake Hollywood.
And then you talking about the what was it? I don't. It was that award show that was last night.
Any award show by definition is just it's just the phoniest fucking put on nonsense. And to get me to do that, it's just like selling your soul to the Hollywood. I don't know what my price is, but it would have to be maybe because I'm getting close to dying here and I want to leave my wife with some money. I would say yes. I can't judge him on that, but he's not getting yet ready. He's in his 40s. There's nothing you could get me to do in my 40s. Nothing you could offer me. Fame and fortune to host the Emmys. And I like Nate. I like his comedy. But to me, there has to be something. You have to have somebody around and say, yeah, that would get you prime time. But prime time isn't really where comedy is happening. Comedy is happening in this dark, seedy corners of the dark humor.
I'm just going to. I can almost understand it from this point of view. When I really liked Billy Crystal. I thought he was really funny, and I think he hosted the Oscars once. And I think it was the Oscars, and he did really well. He did a really good job at hosting the Oscars, and I think they had him do a second one. And because I liked Billy Crystal and he did that, I can see another comedian going, I would like to try that. I think I can do that. Or I would like to, and I can see, and then so it almost gets on your bucket list of things. And all of a sudden you have an opportunity and you didn't think it through. Before it was just a fantasy and you never thought it would ever really happen. Now all of shit is about to happen. It's like, shit. And you almost have to say yes. I'm just saying, again, I don't know because I've never been offered that kind of thing.
Well, I think you're talking about the path. Well, first of all, let me address this comment. Slaptail Squad says, didn't go well for Joe Coy at all when he hosted an award show. I don't even remember the show it was. Here's what I'll say about that, though. I did not, and I'm culturally unhip. I didn't know anything about Joe Coy before that. I only knew of him because of that. Didn't go well, whatever. I think it might have been the Oscars or Grammys or something. But I also haven't heard anything about him since then. So I was like, but he's not. Maybe he was, and I just wasn't aware of it. Not like an A-lister comedian that I don't know how he got offered. Again, this is just my culturally unhip. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who should be offered that. Nate, I could see.
I agree. Somebody sat back and go, you know who's popular right now, and you know what? We need to draw an audience in from such and such. You know, I don't know, because some people are going to watch the Emmys no matter who hosts.
Right. But
Because
going back in time, like I wouldn't think Johnny Carson hosting the Emmys or the Oscars, or David Letterman, even though he thinks he bombed at it, and he took some help for the Oprah thing. But whatever, I thought those people were in their mold. They were the establishment. Billy Crystal was the establishment when he did that. He was Saturday Night Live guy. He was, he was the establishment. He wasn't. So it wasn't like taking your anti-establishment comedy club persona and then just trying to glom into the world of the pretty people. And that's what
I'm not looking at the politics of it, what is established. I'm just saying that as a general, like as a comedian, I liked Billy Crystal. Of course, I wasn't a comedian back then, but I'm just trying.
As a comedian. Yeah, I liked him as a comedian, and still probably would. I think he was very good, Billy.
Yeah, I don't because I can't. I'm hard pressed to pick a comedian that would influence me. That would look at go now. I mean, I still like Christopher Titus, but what he does doesn't influence me.
Do you think if Christopher Titus was offered to do the Oscars this year, he would accept?
I honestly don't think he would, but I don't know.
I don't think he would either. That'd be a good question for him. Can you get him on the show? I want to ask.
I'll reach out to him. I'll reach out. I don't think he'll respond because he doesn't respond to anything. He hasn't responded directly to anything to me since before COVID.
I'll take the Mark Morin letter, and I'll just change a few words and send it to Christopher Titus today.
And same with his wife Rachel. We used to be like Facebook friends, and I could message her and she'd message me back, but we were never like I would never call. Some people call you on Facebook, because you don't have your phone number. I would never do that because I never had that kind of relationship with them. And I actually, if they saw me, I think they would recognize my face and my hair and go, we did know him, right? We've spoken with him for several hours, right? We have hours of conversation with him. But what's his name again? I don't know.
That's fine. Do you know if Christopher Titus has a son?
Yes, he does.
In comedy?
I don't think he's in comedy.
Because there's a comedian, I think his name is Tyler Titus. I'm not sure about that. But he looks like Christopher Titus. He's on Facebook. A friend requested me, and I was like, is this Titus's kid? Because he looks very much like Christopher Titus, like a young kid.
What did the info say? Did you do their about info and check it out?
No.
Because I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure.
I think he's a stand-up comedian. Let me see if I can find him.
I think his son... I don't know his son's name because I don't think I've ever heard him use his son's name in any of his routines.
Yeah. But I would. My thought was, if this kid is his son, it's probably easy to get his son on here, and then don't just talk about your dad. Wait, we want to talk about my comedy career? No, let's talk about your dad. That's all anybody really wants to talk. That's got to be a tough thing to be a.
Well, you had Kelly. I was going to say Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Carlin on, but she's like
too early for her. She will be on the evening show again if I ask. But
I'm not saying you. I'm not asking. I'm not saying get her on the show because she didn't want to do my show. So she's dead to me. No, I'm just teasing. She's not dead to me.
Yeah. Let me see. Jeff Titus. Hold on. Is this him? Jet. That could be it, right? Jet Titus. That sounds like
it says the son's name is Jet Evan Titus.
Yeah, this is him. Jet Titus. Yeah, this is him. He looks exactly like him. It's Jet Titus. This is the... Oh, I should show you. Can I show you this picture? You would say, yeah, that's fucking Titus' son without even a fucking blink. Share screen. Facebook. Where's about Facebook? Here it is. There you go. Come on.
Apparently, Jet is a newborn. Well, how does this? It says it's Jet Evan Titus. It says he became a father again last month when his wife Erin. Okay, Erin is not his wife. His wife is Rachel. So
that
gave
tell me
birth to son
looks
Jet.
like Titus. So I mean, look at him. He looks that looks like a young Titus to me. Jet Titus. But Jet Titus also sounds like a travel problem that you might get. I got jet Titus, jet lag, jet Titus. I don't know. I got. Yeah, you should ask Steve Hofstetter. Now, people don't like people in my circle have a real problem with Jeff Hofstetter. I don't know why. He's extremely, as Slaptail says, he's extremely intelligent and versed in world events. I think I don't know what the issue was. Was he selling a course or something? But man, the comedians that I was I won't say I was friendly with for quite a long time, who I don't even really talk to that much anymore. He was like one of their poster child for what they call them, cannibals, just like charging young people to be as part of a contest or a competition and stuff like that. And so he was not well liked by a lot of people. I don't really know, but I saw that Steve was at the Wealthy Theater where Jackie was a week ago. He was there last night, right? Should ask Steve Hosta. Yeah. I don't know. I'll reach out. I'm not confident that I'm going to get more people. So the question is, maybe take a day off or two here. Recharge my. I would like him. Okay, if you say I would like him, I'll like him. I don't have anything about it. I'm just saying there were a lot of people. And listen, I don't care if they get angry at me for having somebody on that they don't like. Just pointing out that there was some issue.
I will reach out to
get what's his face on? Tom Myers. You can't get him.
I'm thinking about his name is Robert.
Gary? I think we tried that.
No, this is a different Robert. I'm trying to
Mr. Rabbit.
Let's see, I know his card is yellow. His card is yellow.
Yeah.
It's not that. Linktree. Hell no.
I'm not hearing anymore. I think burn this bridge to Sticks and Stones Comedy Club. And I'm fine with that. But
Brian Borback. I'll reach out to him, see if he wants to come on this week, because he can't schedule to be on this week because it's too short.
I think I reduced it to a 2-day buffer. I could even take the buffer totally off at this point.
Well, I'll just reach out I'll just call him. And see if he wants to be on this week, and if so, I'll find out which day and I'll send him the link.
Yeah. I'm going to reach out to Brian Simpson too. Brian Simpson is the guy I want to get on. He's a guy who, 20 years, I think, in New York City, a fire department, before going into stand-up, and has now got his own little Netflix half-hour thing. That would be interesting to me to get his perspective on it, because most people who spend a career doing something and get into comedy after a full career and doing something else, they don't get the breaks. They don't get Netflix within the first year or 2 years like that. They find I think the road becomes harder for people who don't start out as teenagers or very young adults in stand-up comedy. I think, if you're going to do it, it's going to be hard no matter what, but it's going to be less hard if you started at an early age and you'll have more to talk about. If you have another career before that, you'll have more experience.
And that's I think you're more interesting. If you actually had a life, you're more interesting. You can talk about more things and with better authority, but you're also less likely to be manipulated into one of those contracts that says, like, look, we'll give you your big break, and all you have to do is nothing. We'll do everything, and we'll pay you nothing, and be like, okay.
And I think you're less likely to become part of a club's regular, like in governors, they call it a house regular or whatever.
Right.
Part of a clique, part of a scene. If you're old, you don't really care about that. I say old, even if you're 40 years old, that idea of going out to the comedy club every night and just going there and perhaps getting a spot where one wasn't anticipated. That's for young people. That's not for people who have kids at home and a wife at home or a husband at home. You can't go out to the comedy club 6 nights a week or whatever and put in
Or
your
even or and this is like if when you're young, dumb, and full of hope, uh,
yeah.
you can sit back in the club and they'll go like and wait to see if you have a chance to do 1 or 2 minutes. When you're
Yeah.
40 years old, you're like, I'm not gonna sit around and wait to do 2 minutes. Fuck this. I got a kid at home. I got a wife at home. You know,
Yeah.
I actually have money of my own. I can actually go out and buy shit. I can, afford to buy theater tickets.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit around for this shit.
Yeah. So
And because that's one thing. I mean, because I know there's a lot of, there are a lot of places that like me as a comedian, but I can't play that game. I won't be a club comedian. Not club. I won't be like their houseboys. I won't do it.
you can. I mean, at this point, it would take away so much. Listen, I know you're not working a full-time job unless you count that. But even so, even being a retired person, you just don't have the time and energy to put in waiting for your 5 minutes to get lucky at a club because you were there. That opportunity is just not going to present itself. Like when talking to Jackie and talking to Dan Pasternak about happenstance and the luck of opportunity presenting itself and being ready, as much opportunity to just be in the right place for that opportunity to just pop up, right? You're settled in, you're old. I'm sorry to say that about you, and I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about
No,
anybody
but I know. Look. You're not breaking news here. I'm 65 years old. Oh shit! Today's my 11th anniversary of me doing comedy.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah.
an anniversary song is.
If I'd have thought about it, that would have been what I opened with when I had nothing to talk about. Today is my 11th anniversary of doing comedy.
And
Damn.
it's my first anniversary of being, not even my first, it's the start of my being banned from Daisies because I had the audacity to say he was fucking killed in a small town. I mean, just the idea that you're going to dedicate, if you want to dedicate a song to the guy, but not try that in a small town. He was fucking killed in a small town. I mean, does the elevator not go to the top? And I'm surprised that I was the first to comment that because that post had been up for a couple of hours when I really did anybody think this through?
Well, you were probably the first person who wasn't part of their sycophant group or whatever it is, because everybody else is going, "What a great idea! What a great idea! What a great idea! What a great idea!" You go like, "Do you know what you just said? You know what you're saying?"
Yeah, small town. That is a pretty small town. It's not. He wasn't in Chicago or New York or L.A. when this happened. Let me just.
No, it was in Mormonville.
Yeah. So and the conversation, I feel like no matter where you go, it's following you now. It's like you can't. You turn off your phone, you can turn off the computer, but there's somebody in your life who's going to want. Hey, can we talk? So. I know you don't follow sports, but if you remember, and I think your memory is not this shot, that you will remember back to April and May when I said the Mets are the Kings in April or May, but they're done. They've had once June 1st hits, you can, but I gotta say for the Met fans who are still hoping, hope beyond hope that they're gonna do something this year. I admire your loyalty, but having been, it's not about the team, the players. It's about the essence of being a Met fan. The team was invented to disappoint you. That's what their purpose in life. So if you don't understand that and embrace it, yes, you're going to be angry come September. You're going to be disappointed, and you're going to be heartbroken. just give it up and learn to laugh with it like I do. Like, yes, they're doing great in April. Look how far in front. It's not going to come September. You're going to be making fishing and golfing plans and things like that. It's no. But last night they won after losing 8 games in a row. They won in the bottom of the ninth with a walk-off homer, and now
So there is some hope. Now everybody's like, "Yay!
hope is a bad thing, Ray. That's for Shawshank reads up, and hope is a good thing, Ray. No, hope is a bad thing. It's red. Hope it's a bad thing. Hope will break your heart every time. Lose the hope, and you will be much better off. You'll just be able to laugh at when the obviously predictable happens. Sorry, Met fans. Not going to happen. Football is upon us now, and somebody was saying their team is definitely, because they won the first game or two, definitely going to the Super Bowl. Definitely going to the Super Bowl. Like, you could learn from a Met fan. First weeks don't matter.
Well, and actually in football, it's very important only because they have so few games. They only have like 17 games that they're playing or something like that. And so toward the end of the season, one game could be the difference between a playoff and staying home.
Yeah, I would agree.
In baseball, you could lose like 70 games and still like win your division.
Well, I would agree with that. It matters more in football, but the last thing that I recall is the New York Giants in the 2007 to 2008 season. And they started off really shitty. And by the time Thanksgiving came, they had to win all 3 of their remaining season games. The final one being against New England, who was going to be undefeated. They would have to go 3-0 in the regular season, beat and ruin New England's undefeated season at the end. Then they would get the wild card, have to make it through the playoffs, and then probably face New England again. And everybody was saying, no way that's happening. No way that's happening. And I remember Mike Francesa saying, this team can't tie its shoelaces three games in a row. You think they can win 3 games in a row just to make the playoffs? Forget about winning the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. And they did win the Super Bowl. So, yes, it matters more in football. But late season, those rallies, being hot at the end of the year, being the team that gets it together in the final month, it goes a lot further.
I agree, but if you let's say you go again, let's say it's a 17-game season, and let's say you lose your first 7 games, but you win your last 10, and guess what? Your division, the leading team in that division, has 12 wins. Yeah. And even though they lost their last 3, they've got 12 wins. You don't make it, they do.
Yeah. No, definitely you could say, damn, I wish I would have won that first game in September.
Right. If you go into the playoffs and you have that momentum, it's great. But if you got that momentum and you didn't make the playoffs, your coach is getting fired. He's not coming back next year, and you're not going to get that momentum back, Well, if your coach is black, he's getting fired. If your coach is white, he's getting another chance because they say, "Oh, he was doing better," So
I'm sorry, going back to politics here, just for a second. We got 2 minutes here. Lindsey Graham, how the fuck? I mean,
okay? I didn't know he was still alive.
Why is he still alive? But
because they've got better AIDS treatments than they used to.
How can you just tell your soul constantly to somebody and look at a camera straight faced and say something is just you're just kissing ass? He's saying President Trump once again has shown what a strong leadership looks like on the world stage. What? Do you realize that all of NATO is saying, fuck you, we're not investing in America, we're taking our money back, fuck you, we're rebelling against Trump, and he's doing nothing but kissing Putin's ass. Well, I'm really tired of Putin. Now he's invading or attacking Poland like Harris said he would. And everybody, she don't know what she's talking about. But what strong leadership is Trump showing by just not doing anything, by threatening and running away? And I'm not happy with Putin. You're not happy with them.
If Trump were half a man, this is how you would deal. Okay, let's put. Okay, fuck Trump. Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump. If I were the president and I had to deal with Putin, and I
If I
had you,
were king of the
if,
forest,
if I were king of the forest, the first thing I would do is give Ukraine every fucking thing they needed to blast the fuck out of Russia. Just say, look, we're giving them everything they need. And I would even say I would offer to put a nuke in there to protect them. Say, look, we want to give them a nuke so they can protect themselves.
I can't tell you how disappointed I am in you.
Why?
Because if I were king of the forest, if tomorrow I woke up and I were king of the United States or king of the world, first thing I would do is say, give G.D. Fenderson 1,000 gold bars, and you bypass me, go right to Ukraine.
Well, I'd bring you with me to Ukraine. And we could do something like who was the other two people that were there? Was that Stanhope, or who was it that went to Ukraine to do comedy?
It was Ukraine. It was Stanhope and Andy Andrews. They went there.
Okay, we could go there and do a show, but I would intimidate the hell out of Russia.
How about the second thing? The first thing you do is give Matt Napo 1,000 gold bars. I don't know what's a gold bar worth anymore. Maybe I need more.
Let me call Senator Menendez. I think it's worth 27 years. I'm not sure how many years he got. I think his wife got 4.5. I don't know what he got.
All right, I'm sorry about today's show, folks. Hopefully, we need our sunshine back. You are my sunshine, and our Ann from Bakersfield. We need them back. Is today a Jewish holiday?
No. Not according to my calendar.
You know what it is?
It's the anniversary. It's the anniversary of my doing comedy.
That, and it's also the last week of summer. Next Sunday begins fall, right?
That's Sunday. Probably what that little writing is on my calendar under the 21st.
Yeah.
My calendar has like little writing under the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 26th, and 27th. And I don't know what it says because I keep forgetting to look. It's so small on my calendar.
All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. I'm going to work.
It has a huge cock on it. My calendar has a huge cock on. Well, maybe a hen. Yeah, I think it's a hen. Never mind.
All right. Tomorrow, Christopher Titus will be our guest. Join us then. I worked my ass off today. I'm really going to put in some effort to get some guests for this week because Christopher Titus is so far really not scheduled to be here for tomorrow, but I'll see if I can get him.
Oh, damn. Okay, because I was...
You got excited.
Well, I was just going to cancel. I was about to call him, and his phone was ringing. And when you said you got him, I hung up. And now it's going to look like I butt dialed him, and I don't want to make it look like that.
Wow, that's you know what? I wish my butt could. I was watching my grandson last night because we went to dinner over the
Speaking of my butt, I was watching my grandson last night.
Well, he does this thumb generation. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Carpal tunnel, right? I mean, it's just weird.
They type faster with their thumbs on their phone with those keys so close than I do with my keyboard.
Yeah.
Like,
I never paid attention in home ec in high school. They had the typing class, and I was like, I'm not gonna. What am I gonna be, a typist?
Now I'm thinking also that when they're typing, they're also using suggested words better than I do because I don't look at the suggested words.
Oh, I don't even look at that either.
So they may be going like they may know if they know what they want to say. Let's say they know they're going to say I love comedy, and they type ILO, and then it says love because then they just hit love, and then they don't have to press the VE, and then they go
try that
because COM, and then they know comedy, and they hit the comedy.
My thumbs are fucking bigger and fatter than my fingers, which are my fat fingers cause enough problem. But my thumbs are even. I think I would be sending. I send a lot of typos out now. You know this. My typos are going to get a lot worse if I try to really fast thumb it.
Now, when I was good at I used to have a stylus for my hair and my computer and my phone. I had a stylus for my phone, and I used to be very good with that. And people would keep, and matter of fact, I had a little lanyard for my stylus so that I could keep it around my neck, and I'll go, type like that.
All right,
but
my
I can't
final
do
word
it
to the
right now.
audience today, before I tell you to go turn on your radio or whatever the fuck I say. If people are telling you not to call them Nazis, double down, call them Nazis, because that's what a Nazi would do. Nazis would say, "Oh, you're doing the wrong thing by calling us Nazis." That's just an excuse to be a Nazi and not get called out on it. If people are telling you not to call us fascists, not to call us Nazis, it's because they're fascists and Nazis. So continue to call them fascists and Nazis. I promise you, I'm right about this one. I might not be right about everything, but I'm right about this. The idea to shut you up, to not give any resistance. What if nobody called Hitler a Nazi? Nobody complained about Hitler. That's what they're saying. Don't complain. Don't complain. Well, if you don't complain, that gives the autocrats complete license to just roll right over you. Continue calling them Nazis.
I just want you. I just want all the, because this is my 11th anniversary of doing comedy. If you want to get me a gift, I just want you to know the traditional gift for 11 years is a car or a watch, Swiss Army knife, which I don't need. I have 2 already. Motorcycle, yeah, Swiss Army knife.
Swiss doesn't even really have an army. Do the Switzerland have an army?
Yes, they have a very good army. Yes.
When was the last time they used them? They never really did, right? The Great Swiss War? I don't know.
No, I think a lot of their army was. I'm trying to think. They're like skiing snipers or something.
What happened to Bill Rhodes? Did we lose Bill Rhodes? Because he's our historian. He would be able to at least shed some light on the history of Swiss Army, Swiss military involvement, I think. I don't know why I brought that up, because she said Swiss Army knife, and I don't think there's such a thing as, it's a Swiss Cub Scout knife. That's what it is. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here. Let's hit the road. Let's vamos. Let's.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be at Ron's open mic, Mr. Tongue tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Tell Ron I said hello. Next time, do more than just.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, enjoy your day. Thanks for starting the show without me. Again, next time up with you, I just say that, but that's me, because I say a lot. And tell the people there. We'll try better tomorrow. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
I listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.